Hey everybody, it's the BKBK podcast where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Brian Taylor, Kerry Taylor, and Captain Kyle McKenna. So in somewhat of an exciting preseason game, to conclude things, the Jets and the Philadelphia Eagles tied 31-31 to wrap things up. Now we're looking at the trimming of the teams to their 53-man roster and the start of the regular season where each of the 17 games played will count. So considering that, who needs to start, who needs to be acquired, who is on the bubble, and who needs to go? Let's talk about it, everybody, all righty? So let's first start off with, who do you want to see starting on our squad? All right? Lots of practices and games. We've seen some players kind of have their ups and downs, and who should stay? Who do you want to see start?
Well, you want to start with the obvious and Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Let's start with the obvious. I see Kyle ready to go. Captain, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think as Brian said, the Zach Wilson is a no-brainer. I think what is more important in the quarterback room is figuring out who's going to be his backup. Josh Johnson did himself some favors in that JV game that we watched the other night.
Hey man, I like JV, bro. Come on, man. I had a good time.
you gotta let the guys play so that you can find out what they got going on. And
he did look like a JV All-American out there, though.
I thought he looked professional, and that's and that's why I think he did himself some favors, because you're going to need a professional veteran behind Zach Wilson, not only to be able to come in if something happens, but also to work through some of the problems that you see. And I think that's one of the best things about Zach Wilson so far, is that he's shown that he has the ability to learn from mistakes and work through problems, and he's not afraid to do it. And it's one of those things where when you get somebody wired like that, it's going to be good. So I think the quarterback room, we talked yesterday offline about Nick Mullins being released as a result of the Gardner Minshew trade from Jacksonville to Philly, which is absolutely ridiculous of Urban Meyer to do that. And for the compensation that they got, it would have been much better to leave Gardner Minshew on your team as a backup. I don't think anybody's going to argue with who's going to start down there. So I love the general management style of Urban Meyer so far. I'm saying that completely facetiously.
But okay. To your point, Kyle. My take on it too is, why trade away a guy that has proven that he can have success in this league at quarterback when your line is putrid and you have the ability?
Great point.
You have this could be a situation where you're going to need another quarterback because your line is so putrid.
Well, and all Gardner Minshew did was throw 35 TDs and 11 interceptions in the time that he played. So, I mean, I read an article last night. He's on par to be as good as Steve Young. I mean, I know that's going a little overboard with it, with the data set. But I know Brian, who always brings the data, Pro Football Focus and all that, would probably agree with me that he was looking good, right, Brian?
Well, here's my point. Why didn't we make that trade? You know what I mean? Like, why did we not make that trade? Because we have a rookie quarterback. We have JJ backing him up, who hasn't thrown 35 touchdowns and 11 interceptions in the league, right? So when you look at it, not a lot of depth behind that, because the other quarterbacks on our roster haven't thrown an NFL pass, period. So, in the regular season, rather. Preseason, sure. But from that perspective, when you're talking about a conditional 6th-rounder, why weren't we in on that?
I'll tell you what, Brian. I mean, that's a great point. But I'm going to argue, something else from a different
And you'll be wrong, but go ahead and argue.
Well, you know what? If you use your sense of logic, which you don't have much of.
What?
Maybe, you can kind of see where I'm going with this. All righty.
Yeah.
Actually, I hear what you're saying. I don't entirely disagree with it, but I would prefer Nick Mullins. Reason being is Gardner Minshew has had much more success than Nick Mullins. Gardner Minshew, if he were to be on the Jets, if there's any sort of struggle with our number 2 draft pick, you're going to get rumblings of, well, maybe he should replace, Wilson. Gardner should replace Wilson, etc. I want to put all the chips on the table and give it to our number 1 draft pick and let him work through his problems without him having to necessarily look over his shoulder unless he's injured. Nick Mullins has been in the system. He knows the offense, and he would be a certifiable backup, whereas Minshew is a borderline starter who I just don't want to upset my number 1 draft pick in that way if I don't have to.
So are you calling Urban Meyer smart? Because by the same definition, that's probably why he did it. I'm just saying.
Well, Urban Meyer is a great coach. He's a great college coach, but he's got hurdles to hop over in the pros as well, which is completely different. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, it's the same. It's the same mindset or mentality. That's what I'm saying, right? So you got Lawrence that went 1, Wilson 2, Minshew borderline starter.
Brian. Here's the thing.
Okay.
He didn't get enough back for him, so that's stupid. He didn't get enough back for him.
Oh, so that's what it is. How much he?
Yeah.
Did.
So
friendly reminder.
You have it in your mind to trade him, get more back, and I don't like what he got back. Go ahead, Kyle.
Joe Douglas, a 2, a 4, and a 6 for a guy that is arguably equal to or lesser than Gardner Minshew. I don't think that Sam Darnold has ever had a season, and we can go to the numbers, that is close to what Gardner Minshew had as a starter.
Not only that, you're going to have to pay Darnold more than you're going to have to pay Minshew.
And also, if we still had Darnold, I would take Minshew because of the history that we have there and not feeling comfortable with Darnold. But
I love Darnold, but I wish I felt like he was more of a winner, like he exuded winner the way that Gardner Minshew exudes it. You know what I mean? Like the guy has a swagger that you walk into a room and you're like, this is a dude that I want to play with. And I don't feel like, and that's not throwing shade on Darnold.
It's the mustache, bro. You got caught up with the mustache.
Yeah, I was going there too, man. It's the stash. It's all about the stash.
I think it's maybe, but it's also the play on the field, and also like somebody being able to.
You probably like it when Gardner Minshew drinks a glass of milk.
You got to do the Rocky and put like 10 eggs in the glass.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Drink all the eggs. All right. So
what about running back? What about running back? Or are we done with quarterback?
No, I'm going to finish the point.
I think I'm finished. I was going to help to transition into running back too. So, Brian, who do you, out of the running backs that we have, who do you think is going to make the roster, and who do you think should start? Because it's kind of like a committee.
I love a running back.
Wow. So Michael Carter, that's your draft pick, so he's definitely going to be there. You got Tevin Coleman, obviously free agent. You brought him in. I like Ty Johnson. I'm
starting Ty Johnson.
Yeah, I'm growing into him, and you know what? I agree with you. And the question is it LaMichael Pirine, who was a draft pick last year? He hasn't been able to stay on the field this year, and last year he had that problem as well. You got Josh Adams out there that look pretty darn good against seconds and thirds. You know what? I might throw in Josh Adams and bounce Pirine, to be honest with you.
I mean, I would bounce Pirine, and hopefully he clears waivers. We put him on the practice squad, and Josh Adams is my goal line back if needed. But my number 1 is going to be Ty Johnson. I like him a lot. Yeah, a lot. My backup to Ty Johnson is Tevin Coleman, and then my third down and change of pace back is definitely Michael Carter.
I don't think that you have to worry about losing any of the 5 guys that we just mentioned, because the ones that are within that first 2 years of contract, we don't have to waive. We can put them right on the practice squad if we want to.
No, that's a good point.
So if we keep 4, if we keep Pirine, Johnson, Coleman, and Carter, we can put Josh Adams on practice squad and let it roll from there. Bring him up for special teams, whatever. I like Josh Adams. I think he's a bruiser. All he ever does is get positive gains when he goes in there. He had a 100-yard day last year, but I agree with Brandon and the rest. With Ty Johnson is the most complete back right now. I think he has a spring in his step. He reminds me of Philip Lindsay when Philip Lindsay was at his best in Denver. So he'd be a pass receiver and a running threat. Oh, by the way, shout out to Gainwell from Philadelphia, looking exactly like we thought he would.
Yes.
And I'm happy. I'm happy for that because I think
the number he's wearing.
I know you said that in the text. 14 is
I don't
not.
like that he's wearing number 14. I'm not, as a running back, number 14. I don't like that.
He makes the squad. He might get a 24, maybe a 2 put in front of there or something. I don't know who 24 is on the the Eagles.
So Josh Adams came in the league in 2018, though, Kyle. So I don't think you can just immediately stash him because he undrafted out of the Eagles.
Okay, so I was under the impression that you could put him on the practice squad. So yeah, I
probably could. I think he needs to clear waivers first, though. That was your point originally, right? With Piron, maybe because
so is that the rule though, Brian? That in the first 2 years you don't have to waive.
I thought you knew, so I was just going along with what you said.
Well, I usually defer to you because you know better.
Changed during this whole
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And also, they've even expanded the practice squad to a 16-man practice squad as well.
That was last year, yeah.
And it's going to be this year too, by the way.
So my take is this: with regard to the running backs, I think we're all on the same page. I think Ty Johnson should be starting. I think Tevin Coleman should back up. The issue with Michael Carter is that he also plays special teams. So he's going to have a spot on this roster. I would put LaMichael Pirine on the practice squad. He hasn't shown that he's capable of staying healthy.
Yeah.
And this is his second year in the league. I mean, Josh Adams is my guy right now.
Yep.
In terms of 3 or 4 running back contingent, and inclusive of the fact that this is going to be a run-heavy play-action offense, and we're going to need a bevy of, a bullpen of running backs in the event that one gets hurt. And I'm very comfortable with Tevin Coleman stepping in should Ty Johnson, get injured, God forbid, knock on wood. And then, the contingent behind. And then, again, let Michael Pirine prove that he is going to be an asset for this team by working on being able to stay on the field.
Tevin Coleman's been injured, too.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
So I think it's in our best interest to keep 4.
Oh, yeah, you got to rock out with 4. Yeah. I mean, plus that's the system, right? Because they rotate backs all the time. And that's the system that they are bringing from the 49ers. So I'm okay with them, rostering 4 running backs. Absolutely.
We were talking the other day on the text about how our roster, just unfortunately, it's not as good as it needs to be. Yet, we're probably a year from the full strength of the draft picks and everything like that. And when you look at it, it is improved, though. Because there's a pro personnel guy that's out there saying, "Ooh, I can't wait to see which running back the Jets cut because I'm going to scoop them." Like a Josh Adams. Maybe it's the 49ers. Maybe it's another the Rams. The Rams who have running back issues right now and run a similar offense. So that's a thing that we should celebrate here is that we actually have a running back room that people might want to poach.
And you know what? There's another group of specialties that people may want to poach, and that's probably the strongest area as far as our specialties. It's the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
So the wide receivers, with Corey Davis as our number 1, I'm fully confident he is a bona fide, legit number 1. Number 2, of course, we haven't seen that much of him, but we know that your boy Elijah Moore has had a terrific camp. I don't know if he's going to be a number 2 or if he's going to be our high-end slot guy that gets a lot of opportunities and targets anyway in this type of offense. and I'm just not sure about where they're going to go as far as our number 2 receiver. But I do believe that the wide receiver room is a strong room. What do you guys think?
I think you're going to start Keelan Cole on the opposite side of Corey Davis, and then start Jamison Crowder only because Elijah Moore has been on the shelf. So I think that dude is the kind of guy that doesn't expect to just jump back in and start. He'll go out there and he'll catch 2 touchdowns and make a fantasy owner super happy that he started him. And then he'll take a starting role. The fact that we could have 2 slots that are of the quality of Crowder and Moore potentially, and then Moore can actually bounce outside, and Crowder could bounce outside too, because I think Crowder was outside more on the Washington football team than he was. I almost said it right there, the other name.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I thought he was exclusively in the slot. You know, Kirk Cousins. That was kind of going back a couple of years, and that's where he kind of cut his teeth, and where his numbers came from was really in the slot.
I know he was an outside receiver in college, and he made that team as a later draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
And he did everything for them from what I remember watching. And, you don't watch a lot of Washington games unless you're watching them play the Giants or, because they're not usually in prime time. But I seem to remember him being able to operate outside too. I know he's shorter, but he is a good possession receiver.
I like this wide receiver group right now, right? And I can't say that I did at the beginning of the offseason at all, right? I thought that was definitely a room that we needed to improve. The only one that was there, the couple, Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios, and Vincent Smith. That was really the quarterback room. The wide receiver room at the end of the day. So to add Davis and Moore and Cole to this pushes all of those or a couple of those wide receivers backwards a little bit. Disappointed in where Denzel Mims is right now because he's really on the roster bubble at this point in time. I think they'll end up keeping him because he had some injuries early on in the offseason. So we'll see where that goes. And I think Corey Davis, to Brandon's point, I think will look like a number 1 wide receiver because of the quarterback that's throwing him the football. Ultimately,
you can't give it to him, huh? You can't just give it to him. And
No. He's got to earn it, and he has not earned it yet. That's all I'm saying. I mean, he looks the part. He's just got to earn it. That's all.
Wait.
Yeah. What? If you want to go there and have that conversation, we can do that, sir. Let's do it.
So you're saying you still don't have confidence in Corey Davis right now, given how well he has meshed with the starting quarterback?
I think the preseason is the preseason for a reason, and I think
high on Zach, but you're not high on Corey.
I'm not saying I'm not high on Corey. I think he can be that.
Oh, you are saying that. You're not saying that with your mouth. You're saying that with your.
I'm not saying it with my chest.
You're saying that with your tone. You're saying that with your body language.
Listen, so this is why. So Corey Davis has been in the league, and he's got tape in the NFL. I know what Corey Davis has looked like so far.
Yeah, great tape last year too.
So when I'm talking about what Wilson could be, I haven't seen him yet, so I have more potential out there versus tape, right? So Darnold came in the league. Oh my God, potential was there, but then all of a sudden you've got 3 years of tape on him, and he looks a little bit different, right? So that's an example of that. I think Corey Davis
between optimism and skepticism.
Yeah, well, listen.
You're optimistic about Zach, and you're skeptical about.
I am. Listen. He's a 1A. I want him to be a 1. I think he can, but I think Wilson will throw him into a 1, right? But he hasn't been there yet.
I'll roll with Corey Davis.
You were calling him a 2 last week, or for our last show.
That's fine. I mean, you want to be a 2? We can be a 2 too. But he's been a 2 in the league. I mean, look at the stats. I mean, the stats tell you what it is. I'm sorry.
Oh, free agency is the stats that have not happened yet. It is not the stats that have happened already.
Listen, so you guys are basing your thoughts on potential. You're not basing it based on production in the
So are
league.
you're basing Zach's on potential.
Exactly. So what do I mean, that's fine. But let's call a spade a spade. Don't tell me he's a 1 because he's shown he's a 1. He's a 1 because you think he could be a 1.
He's going to. Well, he is a 1
because
now.
he could be a 1.
He's a
Right.
one here.
We'll find out. I mean, it might be Elijah Moore. I don't know.
He's more of a 1 than Robbie Anderson.
Thank you.
The stats don't tell you that.
Moving on
we can agree to disagree.
I tells you that
all day.
I don't know. I made the whole argument via text message, which the audience does not get to see. We only allude to. It's our secret text message chain.
Yeah,
that has all the secrets of the Jets,
and none of it had to do with stats.
And yes, it did. Yes, it did. Robbie Anderson would never have had that many catches if Christian McCaffrey was healthy.
Boom,
dude.
Never.
Take out the year. Take out that year. He still has better stats than Corey Davis. Take the year out.
He has equal stats to Corey Davis. He's around between 60 and 70 receptions a year.
I mean, everybody wants to throw out your best year just because it's your best year.
Corey Davis does more with less receptions than Robbie Anderson. Robbie had.
Well, you know what?
I don't know if you can make that argument because he has a lot of yards.
Huh?
This argument will be settled by the end of the year because Robbie has Donald and Zach has Corey, and look, we'll see what happens. I have more confidence. I'm higher on the Jets combo than the Carolina.
Yeah, and you know what? And we're gonna see
combo.
Yeah, and we're gonna see what's up with that come week 1.
I think Sam Darnold would be QB2 on our team right now.
Absolutely, 100%.
Without a doubt.
Exactly.
Ryan wanted that too. So, anyway, let's move on to the tight end room because
do we have to?
Look, Brian, you're such a jerk. Let's move on to the tight end room. How are we feeling about the tight end room? I mean,
I'm feeling like I'll give the Philadelphia Eagles a new 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Maybe and a little bit more for Zach Ertz. Yeah.
My only problem with Ertz is that, with this San Francisco offense, you want an inline blocker, and he's not that at all. I mean, Tyler Kroft looks the part. He looks the part in terms of physical ability, in terms of physical stature, in terms of, loving that seam, finding those little open spaces. He's 6'6". So he looks the part in terms of what they want to do from the tight end position. The problem is that nobody else on the team does.
But you know what else, though, too, Kerry? I mean, I do like Tyler Kroft, but Tyler, I don't want to be reading during practice that, you're dropping passes. Catch the ball. You got to block too, but you got to catch the ball. You absolutely have to be complete. I did love that game where he scored the 2 touchdowns. He looked smooth. He looked good. But I just need to see more consistency. And I am willing to give him a chance to start. And I think if
he's going to start. That's not a question.
Well, I think if we're going around, he's the starter. Herndon is not the starter.
No, right.
Yeah. I'll put it to you this way. Just like Kyle, did you send that article in the group regarding Tyler Eifert? Not Tyler Eifert. What's his name?
Zach Ertz.
Ertz. So if we get Ertz, we keep Tyler. We can get rid of Herndon, and then we keep Yeboah.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head with the fact that we're even talking about keeping Kenny Yeboah on the roster, like him being a straight 53-man roster cut, means that our tight end room is really terrible because Kenny Yeboah didn't do anything until the last preseason game. Yeah, I mean, although I'll give him credit, he blocked well. In the run game, which is not really his forte. He has shown that he's a much more capable blocker than I think we thought he was. But what is it, Ryan Griffin? Ryan Griffin's a special teamer, so they'll keep him for that reason. But I think Kenny Yeboah is a practice squad stash. Mm-hmm. If he does continue to rise up in potential and show potential, then maybe he comes on. I think him and Elijah Moore being together on that team to drive each other, maybe that's a factor in there too, because I feel like Elijah Moore is an inspiration to everyone around him, even those that are technically better than him. The DK Metcalfs and the the AJ Browns, like, we all saw that stuff. Like, he is an inspiration to people. He's a glue guy. He brings everything together. So I think that Kenny Yeboah is a stash. I think Croft's a starter. I think Herndon is playing to not get a pink slip. And
I would cut him.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. I don't see how he stays on this roster.
I
to
got
be
Ryan
honest with
Griffin
you.
contract. I got Tyler Croft that I just signed. I have Yeboah that plays special teams, that has demonstrated an ability to improve in the blocking scheme, which is an important factor when you're talking about this offense, and has the ability to catch the ball. So even if I stash Yeboah on the practice squad, I'm still cutting Herndon.
Yeah, and you know what? I think he seems to be a little bit more athletic than Herndon as well.
Yeah, he's like a more athletic Herndon, to be honest with you. That the way he looks,
he's more athletic,
right?
And if he can turn into, I'm just using as an example, but if he can turn into somewhat of like a George Kittle is out in San Francisco as far as his athleticism, and we're already saying that he can block, he's just going to need to, catch the ball regularly and hold on to the football, because we saw him get popped the other day and fumble that rock too. So
George Kittle's an elite blocker, though.
Right. Yeah.
He might be one of the best blocking tight ends in the history of the NFL.
That's why I prefaced it by saying what I was saying, but use that as an example.
The guy that we're not talking about here is Wesco. And that's because Wesco is listed as a fullback. I think that you're going to see a waiver wire scan by the Jets to see if any of those fullback Kyle Juszczyk types get cut at the end of, in the middle of the week. But Wesco is going to be our starting fullback. He's trending up. And I think that when you talk about tight ends, it's 4, including Wesco. So Croft, Griffin, Herndon, or Yeboah, and Wesco. And Yeboah you can put very easily on the practice squad without having to cut Herndon. So I disagree with you, Kerry, from I'm financially, I think that Herndon is okay to keep right now and to just let that thing play out and then see, because if he's going to be your third string tight end, I don't think that it's a waste of time.
If he's going to get usage and is going to produce when he's in there. If not, then no.
But this team is going to have some 3 tight end personnel and some 2 tight end personnel. So, and then, injuries are going to happen. So, I'm more of a wait and see on Herndon. O-line, I think that our starting right tackle position, I've been seeing stuff. I saw some articles saying that Fant is going to beat out Moses.
Wow.
I've seen articles that have said the exact opposite.
So the interesting thing about Fant is that what you've seen now that Becton has been on the shelf is that Fant can easily come in and play left tackle.
So the swing again. The articles that I've been seeing are that you don't lose much if you keep Fant as a swing as opposed to Moses in that role. Because we understand that, number one, Makai has had a history of, missing some games. And, we have had a history, the Jets have had a history of not having the line depth that they need, and, I wish that he, had more snaps at guard, to be honest with you, because I think he'd be an improvement at that, right guard position. So,
Well, I think that Van Roten GVR is what they call him.
Oh, and Bombers.
They call him GVR on the One Jet Strive show.
Actually, he has not been rotten this preseason.
Exactly. That's what
Feeney has been rotten.
Feeney has not always been rotten. Feeney's better than I thought he would be.
He played better in the second and third preseason game.
I'm not a fan.
It's not saying a lot, but
I like Feeney better when Mekhi Becton's next to him. Yeah, I think he plays better there. I think anybody does.
I just want to see AVT out there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I already signed the check, man. I want to see that dude out there. What's up?
AVT and Elijah, both of them, neither one of them have.
I know.
So
I know.
Also, if Fant is your swing tackle, he's also your ogre tight end. So that's what they call, what some programs call that extra lineman that you bring in. And I mean, Fant is perfect for that. He did a lot of it in. They did the statistical analysis of how much he played tight end in Seattle. Yeah. So I think that's, you're talking about your elite blocking tight end. You put a tackle in there, and then it's good. I like what I've seen of Fant and Moses, both this when they've been out on the field. So I think that we're pretty straight there with GVR, Moses on the right side, McGovern, a better McGovern, a more ready to play McGovern, AVT, Mekhi Becton, Fant swinging, and Feeney as a swing guard. Who's our backup center right now?
Oh, he played the entire game.
Murray
last week, yesterday.
I think his name is Murray. Murray. Yep.
Murray.
Yeah, 61.
Jimmy Murray. Is that him?
Backup guard is Levin or Levine, Levin.
I think Levin played center too. I think.
Okay. And then we have the backup tackle out of he's a third-year guy, I believe, out of USC. What's his name? He started for us.
Chuma Agoda.
Chuma Agoda. So
I don't like him at all.
Me neither. I'm not a huge fan. I think our starting five is a good one, but what we haven't seen is them being together all at once. So we haven't seen a cohesive unit. So that's what I want to see week one, so that, they can kind of just gel together, because that's what the O-line is all about. You really got to gel. If you can get an O-line that just gels, even if you have someone that may not be as good as the other one, but like what Kyle was saying, if he's playing next to such and such, he's better. That means there's a gelling factor there. That's what we need to see. So
I liked Brandon Phillips much better next to Steve Sebastian than next to me. So
right side.
Me and Mike Moan were definitely the weaker side of that offensive line, but we got it done. I don't think that if you added up Billy Comer's weight, my weight, and Mike Moan's weight, I don't think we would be equal to Steve Sebastian and Brandon at that time.
I think I was like 237 or something like that.
Bill Comer was 150.
Yeah, I know. He was
playing center,
totally
pinching people.
Yeah, so. Before we move on to defense, this one should be quick, guys. I think we found our kicker. I love this kid Amendola. I love him. We found him, and we're gonna go with this guy. I mean, and you know what? He's kind of jacked. He reminds me of the Giants kicker Freeney. Remember that guy?
Yes.
Who?
Yeah, he's jacked. He's got guns busting out. I was like, oh snap! I can't wait to see this guy after he, kicks off, run down and make a tackle and pop somebody.
My favorite kicker in the league right now is Rodrigo Blankenship for the Colts.
Wait. Hey, no foul language on this show, Kyle.
Love his goggles, huh? You love his goggles?
He has the goggles. He's very professional. I like Rodrigo.
So, yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, but I think with kicker, punter, and long snapper, we are
set
now set. Brademan and Hennessy, our longtime long snapper. That's all good.
Yeah, man. So that leads us to now quickly jump to our defense. And we had a big injury. Honestly, I'm still not 100% over it, man, with Carl Lawson. I love the kid. I love the energy that he kept on saying that he exuded. And the problems, honestly, that he was giving our number one draft pick from last year in camp, which is a good thing because, iron sharpens iron. You get refined through going through some struggles and you get better. You get challenged each and every day. And that's what Carl Lawson was doing to Mekhi Becton. So, and then when Becton would step in the games during the preseason, I didn't see any mal effects. He played great. He played great to me. I saw him get some pancakes in there too. So, but losing Carl Lawson, that's pretty big. And, who's going to start for us there?
Yeah, you got Vinny Curry too. Don't forget about that, right? Because that's on the edge as well, and he's done for the season, with a medical condition. So it's, we were already looking for somebody to start opposite Carl Lawson, and now we have a backup, Vinny Curry, who was going to be able to come in there and give us some good reps. He's no longer there. So yeah, the defensive line, which was going to be our strength, now in the preseason looks like a problem. On the outside.
So I would say, who are the starters? Bryce Huff and Franklin Myers?
Yes.
Or is Ronald Blair a starter instead of I think that Bryce Huff has played very well.
Yeah, he's shown enough.
And he's played deep into games too, which I think is interesting. Hamilcar Rashed is definitely going to have to step up and play right away. And I love what I've seen of him.
So do I.
I like the 55 on him. It's a good number.
Looks great on him.
Yeah. But he's more of a pass rush guy than a run defender, but he can also be on 2 feet and drop because he's more of that 3-4 outside linebacker that's now has his hand in the dirt. So I think that those 4 guys are really. I think Zuniga is the one that has to worry about.
Oh, he's cut. He's got to be cut. I mean, if he stays on this roster, you're like, if I'm in that locker room, I'm looking at him like, you got drafted. That's the only reason why you're here, because he's shown zero preseason, regular season, like anything. I don't. There's no way he ends up on this roster.
Yeah. At most practice squad, but I'm kind of over him. And he's got great size and length and everything, but I haven't seen him produce one bit. And
you guys, I think just got to temper it a little bit with last year being the COVID year for rookies. It's tough for rookies in general. It's even tougher when you got everything that we had going on last year. So I don't know if I would like to put Zuniga on a practice squad and see how he develops a little bit before I completely cut bait.
I think you probably have to. He's not on the roster, right? I mean, he's not on the 53. You just don't have the space, especially with the amount of defensive linemen that you're going to have to carry and folks that have shown something, like a Bryce Huff. What wasn't Bryce Huff a rookie last year?
Undrafted rookie,
right? Yeah. So that's where it's like, he had the same lack of a training camp. He had the same pluses and minuses that Zuniga did. Granted, Zuniga had some injury issues as well, but I mean, Bryce Huff flashed.
I think Bryce Huff might be 3rd year, Brian.
Really?
I think so. We could check that out when we have a second, but I think he might be 3rd year because I think he was on the Jets practice squad for a whole year before he really played. I may be wrong on that, but I get your point though. Some people are gonna adapt better, and some people are gonna be more healthy than others, have more opportunities. But I like Bryce Huff. I think that maybe one of our starting defensive ends isn't on our team yet.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe we pull something off for like a Chandler Jones.
I doubt that's going to happen, but I think he would be $15 million against the cap. He's got one more year. I just don't see Joe Douglas doing something like that. It's just not really his style.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe Barrett, the defensive end out of Philly. There's already ties there with Douglas working there for a while and probably had something to do with acquiring him. That may be more of a possibility, but I doubt Chandler Jones would be the guy. And I believe there's one more defensive end.
Emerson Griffin.
I happen to like him.
He already resigned. With the Vikings.
He already resigned?
Yeah. And Bryce Huff in 2019 was with Memphis. So last year was his rookie year.
Okay.
Yeah. So So no Griffin. So one of those two, I'm leaning more towards Barrett. But if we could pull off Chandler Jones, there's no denying his resume. So I'm not going to say no. I just don't think Douglas will do that.
I think you start Sheldon Rankins and Quinnen Williams at the D tackles.
Okay.
And then you're rotating in Fatukasi and
Marshall.
Do you think Marshall's too deep or Shepard is too deep?
No, well, Shepard is ahead of him, but I think Marshall makes the 53 though.
I think that Marshall makes the 53 also.
Yep.
But I don't think they're going to keep any more D linemen than that though.
I like Smart as well in the interior.
Smart hustles. Yeah, you're right, Kerry. I was watching him. He definitely hustles. He was all over the field. Number 79, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like seeing Foley losing his starting job, though. I mean, Rankins, yeah, I like him and everything. Originally a high first-round draft pick or high enough, but, you know.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree with you, Brandon. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I do believe that they're going to start Rankins over him.
Probably so. I don't know if I agree with it, but the one good thing about interior tackles, they do get rotated in and out a lot.
So it doesn't really matter too much.
So hopefully it won't matter. Hopefully that won't, stymie his ego.
They seem like a tight group, the D line. Like they like each other, and they big up each other. They kind of support. So I agree with you too. Like they will rotate. So it's like a 1A and a 1B.
Can we move to the linebackers though? Because I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah, I mean, is a KJ Wright signing out of the question?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, man. I mean, we've got to go somewhere with this because you look at it, and you got Davis that's out until week 6. So now you got Jamie and Sherwood kind of taking over his spot. He did not look good in the last preseason game.
You should have figured out a way to draft Zaven Collins.
No.
Zaven Collins is going to get suspended by the league he's a wild man.
I know, drunk driving. I know.
Yeah, he's fast and furious.
Really, already there, huh? Good choice, B. Love it. Yes, first rounder, great.
Yeah. So KJ Wright has scheme experience with Robert Saleh.
Sure.
From Seattle.
Sure.
And so, but I don't know how much that costs.
Listen, man. We what is it? Penny-wise and pound something else. What's the term? Pound foolish.
That's some British stuff.
Yeah,
but
man.
There's nobody on the waiver wires after the reduction of the roster that looks. What is it? The reduction is tomorrow or today?
Tuesday. You got to cut down by Tuesday.
By Tuesday.
Yeah, you got to cut down by Tuesday. But KJ Wright's there. You know what I mean? You don't have to wait on him. Don't have to wait on the waiver wire. Just throw him a couple dollars. I mean, more than a couple, but throw him some dollars. He's on that list that you guys love so much of the top 100 players. So, I mean,
list that you guys love so much. that is Robbie Anderson, Tex Shade out there right there.
Oh yeah, it is all day. But
for our audience out there, I pointed out that Robbie Anderson's peers did not vote him a top 100.
And
it was 102, I think.
102.
Hey, Kyle. And
you said 125 the other day.
I did. And this is coming from the guy that never wanted Robbie Anderson to even go back and visit Florida.
Of course not, man. Now he's in Carolina. He hasn't been back
Florida.
Absolutely, man. South Beach is off limits to you. It's dead to you. But I say this. Listen, you got Mosley, and then you got 2 rookies. I mean, and didn't I talk about the depth of the linebackers last week?
2 rookies that haven't even really played the position yet.
Right, they're both safeties converted too. At that, man, it's and Mosley hasn't played in 2 years. Really concerned about that.
I think Cashman's going to play a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
And
I honestly think he should start over Sherwood.
Yeah. I've liked Cashman since we got him out of Minnesota.
You love that.
It's just that he needed to stay healthy. So far, he's healthy. I see him flying around the field, hustling. He hits hard too, and he seems like he's a smart football player.
More of a fit with the old scheme, though.
Yeah,
he's more of an inside backer than an outside. Yes, he is.
But to me, Jared Davis was more of a fit for the old scheme than the new scheme.
Exactly. But I say that he's a better all-around linebacker than Cashman is as well. He comes cut from better cloth, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, I would like to sign Wright. I think that's a good thing. But I'm just trying to pick Saleh's brain with this one. Like I don't, for instance, back in the day, like I know the University of Miami when they were recruiting people to play certain positions, so that they would have, say, more athletic defensive tackles. They would recruit tight ends and then convert them to defensive tackles. Like Warren Sapp didn't play D-line in high school. I think he was a tight end and a running back, and then they converted him, and he became one of the greatest defensive tackles in the history of college football. So they would do things like that. But now it seems like he's trying to do that on a professional level, and it's like, it's a very hurried pace here in the NFL. I hope he's able to execute that. I just don't know.
What makes me even more concerned, and this is building on your point, Brandon, is that Sherwood is C.J. Mosley's backup at middle. So like all those games, like late in the games, you saw 44 in the middle of the defense playing that C.J. Mosley role. So, it's a lot to transition from safety to linebacker to begin with.
Yeah.
And then to transition from safety to middle linebacker. That I think that don't be surprised if we sign someone that is going to bolster that unit if our front office is doing things to get the best roster out there. So, and which I'm confident they will. What about safeties?
But before we get to safeties, at this point, we've addressed major concerns on our D-line, especially the ends. Not as much nearly as our interior tackles. I'd say that so far is the strongest part, as far as players in depth. But on the ends, we've addressed on the outside, as far as our outside linebackers, the major concerns there. And then now we're going into our secondary, which Kyle was segueing into. That's another area of concern for the New York Jets.
I'll say this just before we start this conversation about secondary. If you're building from the inside out, we have an all-pro or a pro bowler in the middle all the way back. So, Quinnen Williams is an all, potential all-pro, potential pro bowler. C.J. Mosley has been an all-pro.
I appreciate that one, Kyle. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get off the Ed Oliver soapbox until he shows me something. I may have been wrong on that. Kyle was wrong. We'll see. It's, I said they'd both be good. But then Marcus May is, he's a top 5 safety in the league as a pure free safety. So when you're looking at that, we are good pretty much on the inside. But like, what do we think about this LaMarcus Joyner addition and what it does for our defense?
I don't know. I don't know enough about him, to be honest with you, and I haven't watched enough tape in order to know what he's going to bring to the table. They seem to have confidence in what he's able to do. I would say from he was nickelback or slot, and didn't really do well, and probably typecast in the wrong position, and that's what he would say as far as his time on the Raiders from that perspective. So now he's back to his natural safety position. So we'll see what he brings to the table. But I think what they were banking on was a Carl Lawson to be there to pressure, and that way it would allow the corners to develop a little bit more. But now Carl's no longer there, so it's putting more pressure on the secondary, to be able to go out there and make plays. And I just don't know. They are so young. I was listening to Douglas, on the cast when they were talking about the preseason game. And he was like, all of our players are like first and second year players.
Yes,
and the secondary is no different. So they're gonna make mistakes. I just don't know where we're going. I feel confident in Bryce Hall. Bless Austin, not as much. But I felt more confident in the entire unit when Carl Lawson was out there harrowing and going after that quarterback. I don't feel as good now.
Yeah, it's huge. It just magnifies the loss of Carl Lawson, because we knew that through all the reports in camp and everything that he was going to put pressure on the quarterback, and nothing makes pass coverage easier than pressure on the quarterback. I think we can all just raise our hands unanimously and say that. And then now there's a big hole there. So they need to fill that gap, because right now with these first and second year players, we don't have enough experience and enough repetition to really figure out the nuances of the schemes to be able to play entirely effectively. At least I'm not confident in that. So that's why, I'm a little nervous about the defense. And even though our offense, I feel like, has the ability to be surprisingly halfway decent, it may not be good enough to overcome a point deficit that the defense is going to allow. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I really hope that we really gel on defense as well, and hopefully the D line can really be the catalyst to kind of help all levels. The linebacker level and back into the secondary level, so that we can kind of just have a better defense and just make things a little bit easier, or else it's going to be a problem because we were getting run on a lot during the preseason. Now, maybe it's because we're playing vanilla defense, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody plays vanilla in on offense and on defense in the preseason, and I get that. But also, if they're both playing vanilla, right? Both sides are playing vanilla, you should be able to kind of stop a draw, stop an off tackle,
Make a tackle. Make a tackle.
Kyle pointed out a couple tackles that Sherwood missed open field, and I saw them again, Kyle. One of them was really bad, and you got to make these tackles, man. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm not giving up hope, though. But come on, Robert Saleh. Let's see what you got, man.
Okay, Jesse Jackson. I got you.
Keep
hope alive. Keep hope alive.
I mean, look, he was brought here on the power and influence of his ability to elevate a defense with pieces that may not have been conventional at times, and his ability to motivate players to be better than they actually may have been elsewhere to a certain extent, right? So he has his work cut out for him. And
sure.
So my thing is, I have all the confidence to believe that he's going to squeeze as much juice out of this onion as he can. And, we're not looking, like Coach Kyle said, this is not our finished product in terms of our roster building. And we're going to see what these guys can do given what they've been given. And, in the beginning, we felt like our defense was going to be the strength of the team when they were building this roster. And even at times we felt like, I have to say, why aren't we signing this end? Why aren't we signing this corner? Why aren't we trading for this corner? Why aren't we getting this linebacker? Why didn't we draft this linebacker, Brandon? So, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with this waiver wire. Let's see what happens when Ashton Davis comes back at safety. Let's see what happens when Quentin Williams gets on the field. Let's see what happens with some of these other guys that were on our roster last year that are going to get an opportunity to have bigger roles. Bryce Huff, Blake Cashman, Bryce Hall. Who's the other cornerback on the other side?
Les Austin.
After a year of injury coming back, and I'm talking about Bryce Hall and Bless, having a full year of starting underneath their belt. So we'll see what happens. I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not optimistic about the secondary. I'm optimistic about the defensive line. I am pessimistic about the linebacker core, obviously, because of injury and because lack of depth, right?
And behind the ears,
and they were behind the ears, and they're transitioning from one position to the next. Now, the strengths of the individuals that are transitioning are pursuit and tackling ability and being able to hit. And when you're playing that 4-3, your thing is you got to sniff out and hope that defensive line keeps you clean so you can make it a hit.
Yep.
So it's more of a let's contain and let's get as many people, let's get as many hats on the ball as possible. So it's going to be that kind of pursuit defense. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Kerry, I have something for you, because when we were talking each position on the defense, we had someone. We had, like, for instance, on the D line, we brought up examples of who we would potentially like to get. The linebackers, we brought up KJ Wright and someone who we'd like to get, but no one here has mentioned the secondary. You being playing defensive back in high school, do you have any DBs, veteran DBs that are in free agency or that you're hearing about that are potentially on the bubble that you would like to see us acquire?
Not a one. There's not a one that I saw that was either traded for within the last 2 weeks or that was let go that I would have said, why didn't we go get that guy?
I think the one who I really wanted, and he was the last one on my list, and the Giants ended up getting him, was Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson has been hurt. Well, and has had an inability to stay on the field. That's when he's on the field, he's a problem. But again, we have two corners that are coming off injury that have had problems staying on the field. That are starting right now.
Yeah.
So I can't really tell you that there is a corner out there. Now, I can tell you that there are a few corners out there that were in free agency that I wanted to look at and wanted to, acquire. And even ones that were late in free agency that ended up going elsewhere. One was on the Steelers, who ended up getting signed late. I can't remember his name right now. I'm bad with names. But at the end of the day, they have corners that they want to take a lengthy look at, and they felt at the time they had a front seven that was going to at least give those corners some time to recover in the event that the quarterback has the ability to get it off and make a perfect throw under duress. So again, if they had a plan, they got punched in the mouth. We'll see what happens after they get punched in the mouth.
Yep. So, listen. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. Texting Brian. So, no, good points, Kerry. Good points. I think we went up and down the list as far as offense and defense and even special teams, and our our concerns and things that we're feeling good about. The one thing I just want to go back to one other position, the quarterback position. I didn't say anything about this guy, James Morgan. I think he needs to go down to the practice squad. I think we need to, I just don't think he's that good just yet. I don't think he's that good just yet. I'm happier with Mike White and maybe bringing someone else in, but James Morgan needs to go down to the practice squad. Anyway, so
James Morgan, they said on the broadcast the other night, is the second longest tenured Jet. That just tells you a lot about our roster.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think the first longest tenured is Hennessy, the long snapper.
You saying James Morgan, the quarterback
out of FIU,
but wasn't he drafted last year?
No, it's 3 years. I think he's in his third year.
No, James Morgan was drafted last year with Mackay. He was a fourth round pick at quarterback FIU. If that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, they may have screwed it up on the broadcast.
Might have been somebody else
they said.
Yeah, it might have been somebody else who they were referring to.
Yeah, man. Leave Captain Morgan alone, all right?
Yeah,
Captain Morgan. Yeah.
My other point,
Iron Eagle was waiting to say that. He couldn't wait to say that.
My other point about the cornerbacks is that, again, remember they drafted Brandon Eccles, they drafted
Pinnock,
and they signed Isaiah Dunn to the highest, one of the highest undrafted free agent signings, contracts ever. So maybe they feel like the guys that they have on their roster are maybe they feel like the guys that they might have signed, are they that much better than the guys that they have on their roster if they're looking at them every day in practice and in preseason? Again, so we're going to see how well they are, how good they are at developing defensive backfield
Mhm.
really quickly.
We'll see, man. It's TBD, as they say. It is TBD. All right, guys, let's move on to our next segment here. And basically, we're going to do a little predicting like we do each year. We love doing this. We predict, we run through the schedule and predict, basically just call us Vegas. Forget Vegas. Call us Vegas. BKBK, air quotes, Vegas. All right? So, who wants to do the running back?
Pause.
What?
The
Pause
Jets
what?
trade for Shaq Lawson. New York Jets acquire edge rusher from the Texans.
Breaking news! Breaking news! Kerry, give it to him one more time.
That's right.
Kerry Taylor, give it to us one more time. Give our audience the breaking news one more time.
Brian, get those stats ready.
The Jets trade for Shaq Lawson of the Texans.
I want to hear a PFF
what
number right now.
That trade. Do you happen to know?
I really don't know, and nor do I care, because we have plenty of draft capital. So, at the end of the day, this is a rental.
Is
right?
Foles coming next?
You would hope, but this is a rental. Shaq signed. Didn't Shaq sign a year ago?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is more or less a rental to help us make sure that we have a capable edge rusher to replace Carl Lawson, and I like it. I think we were talking about Shaq during the free agency period. So
yeah. So all right. So last year, PFF gave him a 70.9, which is
that's not bad.
Which is a good grade. He had five sacks last year, which is good.
In how many games? In 16?
I don't know. It doesn't say how many he actually played in.
Shaq Lawson only had 5 sacks last year too. How many pressures?
Well, that's Shaq Lawson. That's what you said.
Carl
Lawson. You're talking about.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Carl Lawson. Yeah.
He only had 5. It doesn't say how many pressures here. The year prior, he had 7 sacks. He had 7 sacks and a grade of 68.2. And then looking back at 2018, he had 4 sacks, 76.5. So this is it's a quality football player here. Not yet. This is a quality football player. I like it.
All right.
Yeah, it's Adam Schefter has it 5 minutes ago on Twitter, so we know it's reliable. It's not Empire Sports Media.
No. This came through. I don't know where I got it from.
I didn't mean to throw shade on Empire Sports Media. I'm just saying it's not.
Kind of sounded like it, Kyle.
I do read a lot of their articles, but sometimes I think that they'll write about something just to have some content and not necessarily have it all vetted.
Kind of like Bleacher, like the Bleacher Report. They said that the Jets won. They beat the Eagles 31-31. I was
right. That was crazy. No, they said the Jets lost. They said the Jets lost.
Okay, yeah.
Not a big fan of Bleacher Report.
Yeah.
Empire Sports Media, I like your Knicks articles a lot.
All right.
Shout out to them.
Who wants to do the games, run down the games, and let's see who's going to, where the Jets are going to win and where they're going to lose. Let's make our predictions.
I'm going to do this because I'm going to do this really quickly because, I'm very succinct about what I feel about it. I don't think we're going to get a win in the division because of the things that you guys and I discussed off camera, which are the NFC East defense is going to be very stout. I think, they
AFC East, you mean?
NFC East, AFC East. When you look at New England, when you look at Miami, when you look at Buffalo, I mean, Buffalo secondary is just second to none. Pass rush of Miami is going to be like a freight train. And New England's defense is just overall going to be very good, scheme-wise and otherwise. And I've said in the past, our offense, I don't think is going to be. I think we're going to be able to score. I think our offense is going to be able to score. I think we're going to be able to put up numbers that are going to be significantly respectable in the AFC East. It's our defense that's going to be the problem against the teams that I mentioned. I don't see a win coming out of those, but I do see a win coming out of Carolina. I see a win coming out of Atlanta, the Bengals, Texans, Eagles, and Jags. So I see 6 wins out of this schedule. I don't see 7.
Okay.
I see. Well,
let's run it down since he went totally off script and did with his own thing.
Yeah,
all right, so
I don't have a script.
That's right. Jets, Panthers, Jets win. I mean, are we all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Jets, Patriots.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The first
Kyle?
one.
Yeah, first one.
I'm gonna say
believes it's 2-0.
I'm gonna say not the first one, but the second one.
I think the Jets are going to go 2-0. I think we're going to beat the Patriots in the first game. Cam's not going to have everything under his feet. You know what I'm saying? This will be the best opportunity to kind of get Cam and to get Belichick's defense kind of back on their heels a little bit. I do not think that we're going to beat them later on in the season, especially when Bill Belichick can kind of just hone in to try to get his team into the playoffs. And their entire defense is back. I basically want to get them where they're not completely gelled yet because a ton of their players took off for COVID last year. And I just want to be able to take advantage of that. I want them to not know who Zach Wilson really is until they see him on game day, and not know as much of him now as, compared to later on in the season. And I think this is our best opportunity to take advantage of that. So I'm going to go 2-0. Yeah, I know I'm rolling the dice, but I'm going to roll it anyway like this. Whack. I'm rolling the dice 2-0. I'm doing it.
With the bent fingers. All right, so I would say this. I think the exact opposite. I think we're going to end up beating them the second time. All right, so let's go. Jets, Broncos.
Loss.
Yeah, I go loss.
Win.
I'm 1-2.
Is it at Denver?
It's at Denver.
Yeah, 1-2.
And Denver looks good.
The defense is stout, and offense with Teddy is going to be steady. You know what I mean?
With those weapons?
Yeah. I think they're going to challenge us. They can run the ball too. I just think that we're 1-2 at that point in time. Moving on.
I'm going win on Denver.
Okay, all right. So Titans.
That's a playoff team. Denver's a playoff team.
Jets, Titans. Who you with?
Titans.
It's at the Jets. Wow.
I don't think they're going to be able to stop that run game.
No, they're not.
I think we'll be able to do enough on offense. I say 2-2. All right. So next up we got the Falcons.
Win.
Yeah, win. All right, so
are we playing home or in Atlanta?
In Atlanta.
Don't think it really matters.
Doesn't matter. No. All right, so
I'm living down there anyway.
I'm 3-2.
Hold the phone. I think we're playing the Falcons in London.
Yes.
We could play him in Singapore, dude. I don't really care.
I'm still calling it a win in London. I think that the Jets they got good mojo in London. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that game's in London.
They could be a Kenya, dude. I don't really care.
In London.
You know what I mean? We can, it's all good. Okay. Mozambique, I don't care. All right, so Jets Patriots the second time.
0 loss.
I'm saying the W.
I'm saying the W the second time.
I'm saying W the second time as well. All right.
They have a lot of issues with COVID throughout the year. The Patriots. They did last year. It seems like there was always somebody that was bouncing onto a COVID reserve list over there. A lot of issues with Cam with that so far. And I also think that just before we go any further, the extra game, anytime an extra professional game is put in there, it's going to wreak havoc injury-wise. So I think that some of these games at the end of the year that we might have thought were losses could actually be wins based on other teams' injury status.
Well, we gotta look at our own injury status right now as we're talking, and think that it's going to improve as a result of what you just said. So that's my 2 cents. The other thing is that, guys, look at Bill Belichick's record against rookies, and I'm just going to leave that there. Keep going.
I mean, I think by this point in time, they're going to be playing a rookie too. So that's my thought process at this point in time.
Rookies.
No, I hear that. I hear that.
Playing rookies,
but
he hasn't had a rookie in like 150 years.
Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson is flex schedule worthy.
Yeah, man, I take that all day, and I think we eke out the W. So, all
is.
right, let's move on. So, Jets Bengals. Jets Bengals.
Jets.
Win.
Jets.
Yeah. All right. We got the Jets versus the Colts.
Loss. Whoa. Who's playing quarterback for the Colts?
I mean, you can only go with who's there.
That's week 9. So he'll be back.
Yeah.
Back already.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, he might play week 1.
He'll be back all the way. Meaning,
I have 5-2 right now. Did I miss a game there?
I have 4-3.
Yeah. So if it's week 9, is our bye week 8?
Bye week is week 6.
All right. So it's right after we go to London.
Yes.
I believe.
You can get a break. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So week 9 is actually the 8th game, right?
Mm.
I'm gonna say L.
Yeah, loss. Loss. It's a loss for me. So that's 8 games in, right? We all 8 games.
Yeah,
right.
8 total.
So I got 5-3. Where we at? I'm just checking in at the midpoint. Where we at? Where's everybody else at?
I got 4 wins.
4 wins. Okay.
I'm 5-3.
5-3. Me and Kyle are the same. And you, Kerry?
I got 3 wins: Panthers, Falcons, and Bengals.
All right. So we 5-3. All right. So now we got the Bills.
Loss.
I say loss. Loss.
Loss.
Yeah. Okay. 5-4 for me. All right. Then we got the Dolphins.
Loss.
Miami or home.
Jets are home.
Jets are home.
Win.
Yeah, I'm going with a win too.
No, I'm not.
All right, Texans.
Win.
Keep in mind, Deshaun might be playing by then.
Still a win. They don't have enough around them.
All right.
O-line is terrible. Defense is not good.
Yeah.
They lost their receivers. It's a win.
Win across the board there. Win across the board. All right, Jets Eagles.
I'm at 7-4 right now.
Me too, Kyle. We're at the same place.
Jets Eagles.
It's going to be tougher than you think, but the Jets are going to pull it off. Win.
I say loss.
I'm going to say loss because I'm trying to keep this realistic.
I just think they're going to lose.
Win.
It's the Eagles. We always lose to them for some reason, whatever. So I'm 7-5 at this point. Jets Saints.
Ooh.
I think we got a shot, but I'm gonna call it an L. I'm gonna call it a loss.
Home or away?
It's home.
You know what? I'm gonna give them a win.
Giving them a win too.
Wow. Okay. Loss. Here. All right. Let's see what else we got. So we got Jets Dolphins.
I think we're gonna lose again.
I say we're gonna split with the Dolphins, so this is the loss.
Yeah, me too. I'm 7-7 right now. Where everybody else at?
I am 8-6.
I'm 7-7.
Okay. All right, so we got Jets Jags.
Win.
George W. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying win, but I did not think. Well, I guess 9 wins was my top end.
Okay, so I'm all right. So Jets Bucks.
Loss.
Yeah, El Dorado. Yeah. And then Jets Bills.
Loss.
Yeah, so I'm 8-9.
Me too.
I'm
9-8. I'm 9-8.
Wow.
And
record.
Does the Jets Bills game at the end of the year, is that a load management rest your starters Bills game?
It is for them.
Depends on the coach. If it was Andy Reid, yes, it would be a load management thing. I don't know enough about this coach to see, if he would be willing to load manage his team.
Is the last game at Buffalo or at New York?
At Buffalo.
We're losing.
Didn't he do it Didn't they do it last year? Didn't they load manage last year?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they did. I think that they did. I'm pretty sure.
So I got 6-11.
All right, Kerry. Gee whiz.
I don't think we're ready to compete with the big boys yet.
My thing, realistically, I think we're going to be 7-10. But I'm like, okay, we're going to pull one out, and maybe beat the Saints. I have us losing both to Miami. I feel like, it depends on Tua, but I feel like the past few years we've disappointed ourselves going up against Miami when it was like we thought we had a chance. And we're catching New England early. I think that's our chance to steal one. Everything else, we're not beating the Bills. Forget that.
And I would say this. If I would be more optimistic about our chances against, say, the AFC East and, say, a New Orleans, if we didn't have the injuries on the defensive side of the ball that we have just had within the last couple of weeks. Even with signing Shaq Lawson.
Yep.
Drew Brees does not play quarterback for the New Orleans Saints anymore.
He does not, but
no.
Their personnel, that defense still looks good. That receiving core looks formidable. And
when healthy,
Jameis,
Michael Thomas is out, so I don't know how.
And Jameis is not the same Jameis that we saw at in Tampa.
You see my face?
Yeah.
Just saying. I don't think he is.
It's the same Jameis with the crab legs.
No, he doesn't have to do the same thing that he was trying to do in.
He didn't have to do that there, man. He had the same roster.
Sure
but he did.
Sure he did.
No, he didn't.
Sure he did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to do what he did.
I'm sorry. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that he didn't have enough of a coaching staff.
What you talking about, Willis? Didn't he have Arians?
Look,
did he have Bruce Arians?
Or you're not.
Did he have Bruce Arians?
But Bruce Arians,
to me, that's not saying anything in terms of you talking about a disciplinarian coach. That's gonna be like, look, you gotta sit down. You're gonna do what we tell you, or you're gonna sit down.
Bruce Arians.
That's not who Bruce Arians is.
Bruce Arians' playbook is way different than Sean Payton's. Bruce Arians is more vertical, and that's
Bruce Arians was told by Tom Brady, "I'm not running your offense no more. This is what we doing when I come back." And what happened? They went to the Super Bowl. It wasn't based on Bruce Arians' offense.
And he adapted, though. He was like, all right, you right, dude. My bad.
All right. So you know what, guys? I'm going to use the older brother checking the younger brother as my way out. This is another great podcast, all right, of the BKBK podcast. So thanks for watching another episode. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide, and the New York Jets reign supreme. So definitely keep watching. You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK podcast fan page, on Twitter at BKBK podcast, on Instagram at BKBK podcast, as well as on YouTube. When you go to YouTube, just type in BKBK podcast. Make sure, guys, hit the like and the subscribe button. Show us some love, all right? And if you can't watch us, you can just listen to us on iTunes. Go to bkbkpodcast.podomatic.com, all right? So that's it. Let's go Jets. Let's go Baldwin Bruins. And let's go Team BKBK.
That's right.
Oh, here we go.
Stay healthy, Baldwin Bruins. Good luck.
Here we go.
On to the scrimmage tomorrow.